This is the fourth video in our 5 video lessons podcasting series, and in this video we are going to talk about podcast scripting and script editing success. Creating a script for your podcast is important. However, when the word script is mentioned, a lot of people start getting nervous. But don't worry, by script we don't mean that you should sound like a robot and read every word without a mistake or any feeling. That would make you a very boring and robotic podcaster. However, scripts help your podcast in numerous ways. One example could be, you'll sound more focused. Not only will you sound more focused, you'll even feel more focused as you go through your show if you have a guideline of the points you want to cover during the times you want to cover them. It could be a great idea to create a show line. For example, what do you want to do with each 15-minute segment of your hour-long podcast? Perhaps you'll have different topics for each of the 15 minutes or guest. Again, just as an example, let's say your topic for tonight's podcast is blogging. It could go something like this. First segment, history of blogging. Second segment, introduce a guest. Third segment, interview the guest. Last segment, blogging technology. It would also be a good idea to develop the script. You don't have to write every word you're going to say unless you're worried you'll forget who said what, where and when, or perhaps a fact or two. Write those things down, then just talk about the topic, covering the points you wanted to cover during each segment, and try to make it conversational. You'll have no idea what your guest will say or callers if you have them. Therefore, remember that people are listening to your podcast, not reading it. Try to complete your sentences and explain what you're saying in a way that your audience will understand. Leave some leeway in interviews so that the guest can talk the most. All the while, you would want to build an audience connection. Your audience will likely only listen to each of your shows one time. Therefore, work hard to build a connection with your audience so that they will want to come back and download your next podcast. Speak directly to the audience, don't lecture them, and don't condescend to them. Of course, you'll need to create all the standard elements. You'll need a standard opening, an introduction, the meat of the show, and an ending, as well as a standard outro. This is going to help you brand your podcast, as well as keep an order that your audience will understand. It's very important to make your listeners feel comfortable. You want to warm up your listeners and make them feel comfortable. Tell them who is talking about what and what's next during each segment. Don't just jump from segment to segment, but talk up each segment and repeat yourself about who is talking and what the topic of the day is. And all the while, just be yourself and stay cool, calm and collected, and don't make it formal. No one speaks very formally. We all tend to write formally even though we don't talk formally, and that is almost always a mistake. You want the audience to like you and understand you. Write your scripts the way you talk. One very important point to always remember is never forget to include a CTA. A CTA is of course a call to action. It's important to always include a call to action to get your audience to take the next step. You may want them to sign up for a newsletter to get reminders about the show so they don't miss any. You may also have an offer from a guest or an offer from you to your listeners. Finally, remember to use the right software for the job. There are many types of editing software like Audacity that you can use to edit your podcast and make it sound professional if you are pre-recording.